Hello, Linhardt.
Unbreak my Linhardt.
John, leave.
That was a little weak. I'm sorry. That was.
Whoa,
Anyway.
hang on. He's got a male and a female Byleth. I'm about this. Let's get going.
All right.
The Sleepy Crest Scholar. Linhardt abandoned his inherited position in favor of a carefree life at Garrigmach Monastery. There, he spent his days at ease, whiling away the hours of the fishing pond or his private study. After his passing, a treasure trove of documents was unearthed, revealing the key discoveries he had made during his many years of crest research.
Nope, I don't approve. He's being wasted here. It's nope. You need somebody to come along and kick him out of his lethargy.
I also like the concept that he makes all these huge important discoveries and shares them with no one.
he just throws them on the stack.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not in character. It's just that he needs growth.
You want better.
I want better for him.
I'm curious what the happy one's going to be like.
All right. A Ragamuffin Sage and the Wings of the Hegemon. Though grateful for the end of the war, Byleth and Linhardt were disappointed to see that there was no time to relax. The fight against those who slither in the dark began immediately, and Linhardt abandoned his territory to help fight for a world of peace and quiet. Though the struggle was bitter, he took heart in the knowledge that once it was over, he and Byleth could spend the rest of their days in leisure, chasing idle pursuits far away from the stage of battle.
Idle pursuits.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the kids call it now.
Yes.
Official spouse. All right. Look at this.
After ascending to the throne as the first leader of the United Kingdom of Fodlan, Byleth announced his marriage to Linhardt. The people of Fodlan placed high expectations on their leader's spouse, but in their consternation, Linhardt spent most of his time fishing, relaxing, and researching crests. Fortunes turned when Byleth discovered a document hidden away on Linhardt's desk, which provided a groundbreaking discovery. Cast unwittingly into prominence, Linhardt was put to work in earnest. In return for his service, he demanded longer naps in the company of his spouse.
All right. Yes.
There's a weird, there's a lot of cuteness in that ending, but there's a weird element in my head where I'm like, is Byleth good for Linhardt? Because it's one of those things where Byleth would just, all of Linhardt's bad habits would in no way be addressed by marrying Byleth.
Yeah, but at least the world would get the discoveries just a little bit
faster.
That's true.
It was like, just let me come in. You just throw them on the stack. It's fine. Throw them on the stack. Occasionally, I'm going to come in and just grab the stack. And so when you toss it on the stack, it's a little bit lower. You don't have to toss it so high. That's really all I'm doing here.
This is some mad bisexual energy here. I like this.
To me, this seems like this would probably be Linhardt's favorite ending because he gets to do all
the
without changing.
Yes.
So I can go good on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have this weird sneaking suspicion that female Byleth is going to be the exact same
same thing.
Yep.
That's going to be really interesting.
Grateful at the end of the war, disappointed to see that there's a fight against Slither Dark. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, yep. Yep. So I guess we're going to stay with this one good too, because it's literally the exact same thing.
Same thing.
Yep. Yep. All right.
Ooh.
Hey.
Does Linhardt rock the Caspar? The roaming instigator.
No! Stop. Go to the corner and think about what you've done.
I can't. I'm supposed to be reading these.
Because that might actually be the best line you've ever said.
Wow.
After the war, Linhardt and Caspar abandoned their noble houses to pursue a carefree journey wandering the world. They traveled to every corner of Fodlan and even ventured abroad now and again. Caspar got into trouble at every turn on their travels, but Linhardt was always there begrudgingly to get him out of it. The records of their adventures were immortalized in a book by an anonymous author entitled The Thousand Roads and Seven Seas. It is said they did eventually settle down after the events in those stories, but where they actually went is unknown.
Oh, that's cute. I'm not sure I'd buy it, but it's a great... I'm not sure I'd buy it, in the game, but it's a great written ending.
Yeah.
Isn't the whole basis of their support my dad can beat up your dad.
That's a lot of it. Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
other?
it's a. I think it's another cute ending that is not really supported by the game much.
I can tell already that whoever is writing these Linhardt endings really likes Linhardt.
Yeah.
I think I'm personally neutral on this because again, a good ending, but the game didn't make me believe that this was something.
That's fair.
Yeah. I didn't. I had a hard time seeing this coming. I guess is maybe the.
Yeah, all right. So neutral on Caspar, the friendly puncher.
How does he do with Bernadetta, the eternal loner? Linhardt and Bernadetta caused quite the stir after the war when they abandoned their inherited titles and eloped to Garrick Mach. Returning to the monastery, where they were always most comfortable, the couple lived peaceful lives away from the hassle of politics. When the Empire's efforts to restore the church were complete, the Officers' Academy reopened, and two eccentric individuals took up professorships there. One was perpetually asleep or absorbed in absent-minded study. The other refused to show herself at all, unless it was time to give a lecture.
What a terrible ending for them both.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird because there's elements of it where I can see it being a good match, but all they really do is really like boost each other's worst habits.
Yeah, really reinforce the worst in each other. So no, this is a like. This is a bad ending.
Bad.
Which is a shame because I can imagine them being very cute, but not the way this is written.
No.
Bad.
You have to expect a certain level of personal growth in a relationship.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bernadetta. Yes, that's my level of humor.
I'm sorry, it just doesn't hit the Rock the Caspar level.
That's not fair. That's the greatest line anyone's ever said.
All right. How does he do with the devoted heart, Dorothea? After the war, Linhardt decided to inherit his title. He spent several years studying his territory, learning to manage its affairs, and when he was finally ready to become the new Count Hevering, he announced his marriage to Dorothea. Somehow, despite all this activity, Linhardt actually managed to keep up with his crest studies. Though his results were dubious at times, his new wife helped him alter them so that they would be of use to people. The relationship...
Wait. I think I'm guessing his publications were dubious this time. Like the way he wrote it. I hope.
This is bad science. Let's make it... Let's just straight up make it bad science. The relationship was unlike anything the nobility had ever witnessed. When faced with this accusation, Linhardt and Dorothea could only laugh and note that the past was of no significance to them.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. The whole thing is weird.
The whole thing is very weird.
Like, laugh and note that the past was of no significance to them. I mean,
well, I
can see people going, you people are, this is a weird relationship, you're weird, and them going, meh.
Yeah.
But, like, what does the past... No, I don't like it.
I mean, I think what that sentence is saying is, like, it doesn't matter that all the the noble couples of the past were supposed to be like this, that doesn't matter to us.
Yes, I like it. I mean, it's better than the others, but...
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a situation, like, where Linhardt invents, like, I don't know, like a
goober.
Some sort of, like, I'm trying to think of something where, like, Linhardt's like, oh, look, I can take seawater and change it into a different type of undrinkable liquid, and Dorothea's like, why don't we change it to a drinkable liquid? And he's like, oh, right, let's do that.
But I don't really necessarily, I mean, I could see that she would do that, but she would not be, like, the first person I would think of who would do that, you know? Like, I can believe that Dorothea would do that, but that's not actually, like...
I think for that particular sort of no-nonsense answer, they're better people.
So are we neutral or bad?
I'm bad. Something about it really rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it. I mean, I appreciate that he at least became an active person.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
aside from
I'd say I'm neutral on this one.
I'll go neutral because it seems to be it at least is doing something that actually plays to their characters.
That's fair. Okay, we can go neutral.
Neutral it is.
All right. He needs to step it up here, though.
Will he step it up with the Queen of Brigid, Petra? Petra returned to her homeland of Brigid and inherited the throne from her grandfather. As ruler, she declared independence from Fodland and renegotiated Brigid's diplomatic relationship on more equal terms. Next, she introduced industrial practices that were modeled on those of Fodland, vastly improving her homeland's economy. This rapid development surprised those abroad until it was discovered that the improvements came thanks to the counsel of Petra's husband, Linhardt, who had left Fodland to offer Brigid his talent and insight. It is said that the couple maintained a healthy and affectionate relationship, and that they raised many happy children together.
Okay, I have a couple problems with this. First, we keep talking about this with Petra, and it hasn't... I wanted to save this until we got to Petra, but I think we have to talk about it now, that Edelgard would in no way just let Brigid declare independence from Fodland. Renegotiate better vassal state terms, sure, but it sort of goes against the whole concept of an empire. That you just, walk away.
I don't know. I never beat that storyline, so I don't know what Edelgard is like at the end of it. In fact, none of us did but John. John.
Still definitely an emperor who feels that the best way to is for her to be ruling everything. Now, honestly, she does actually intend to do it in, as good a way as can be done, but she's also
the benevolent philosopher king who has to live forever.
Yeah, politically shrewd enough to go, I can't just let everyone decide to walk away. Yes, it makes sense in your case, but it's not going to make sense in all cases. So
I just don't like how that keeps happening. And I don't like how it turns out that all of these great things that Petra was doing as Queen of Brigid, it was actually her husband who was doing it. It was the man who... it all made sense once they went, oh, it's the man. Okay. No, I don't like this. Bugs me.
I guess I interpreted that more as, hey, Brigid is behind the times technologically, and all of a sudden they've all the way caught up. How did that happen? Oh, someone from Fodland took a bunch of ideas and gave it to them, and they executed on them.
You're not wrong, but I don't. But the way it was written, really
yeah, it's worded so where it could be either or both.
Well,
I don't remember.
Even at best, the sort of Meiji Restoration.
All right, if we're talking about the Meiji Restoration, we need to move on. What were their supports like? I don't remember, and because I can't remember, I'm saying bad.
They were not particularly memorable. So, nope.
Yeah.
Bad.
Bad.
I also don't believe that they would have many happy children.
Many happy children seems to be the line they throw into a bunch of endings when they're like, we need to prove that they like each other.
I can see them having a couple of happy children, but I just don't see Petra being, barefoot and pregnant all the time. She's too busy for that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Annette, the bloomed overachiever. When the Officers' Academy reopened after the war, Linhardt gave up his inheritance to take on a position as a professor there. He soon married Annette, who had taken on the same job, and side by side they helped to educate the next generation of students. Unfortunately, Annette took her teaching duties far more seriously than Linhardt, who was more concerned with his crust research, and developed a reputation for falling asleep, sometimes more than once, during his own lectures. In their first few years as a couple, she fought desperately to correct his behavior, but later she learned to accept it, and even look forward to finding creative ways to wake him up.
Wow, that went just downhill fast.
Yeah,
I was ready for...
I was ready to be on board with this.
I was like, perfect. Annette's one of the people that can actually get Linhardt to change a little. Nope.
Well,
I could actually see, unlike with Bernadetta, I could actually see Linhardt and Annette being a happy professor couple and, that working out for them and, him getting her to take life a little more slowly but then having for the first few years, she fought desperately, then gave up.
I do like the implied
It's just
concept, though, that she's
Yeah.
waking up Rube Goldberg machines just to wake him up.
That was not where I went with that, but okay. I,
Pretty close to where I went with it. So
I'm so mad by that. Fought desperately to correct his behavior, but later learns to accept it. That's bad writing.
And
but...
I did like their supports too, so I don't think I could go bad on this one, but I don't think I can go higher than low neutral.
Yeah, it's a disappointing neutral.
It's a very disappointing neutral because they could have sold me on this one real well. Fine.
Where were we at? Cynthia.
So now we're in Cynthia. Okay. The Scholar of Misfortune. The Linhardt research vigorous.
Sorry, it's just something funny about the line, "They're learn her."
Linhardt. Researched vigorously for a method by which to remove the crest from Lysithea and save her life. The war ended before he could reach any conclusions. Lysithea, deciding that she should return home to her parents, thanked Linhardt and took her leave of Garreg Mach. Not to be deterred, Linhardt set his affairs in order, renounced his noble title, and followed Lysithea to Ardelia territory to continue his research. Years later, his efforts bore fruit, and Lysithea's crests were successfully removed. With a new future ahead of her, Lysithea, too, renounced her noble claims, and the couple married as commoners. It is said they raised a very happy family.
See, this is a very well-written ending that makes total sense with their arcs, but I just don't buy their personalities.
The problem with this relationship for me is that it's difficult for me to It's difficult for me to imagine Linhardt seeing Lysithea as anything other than the most interesting research project he's ever had.
Yeah. I mean, I could read a fic that would sell me on this,
and
I could definitely be sold.
Yeah.
But
well, and specifically, Lysithea not constant. Even if he does, Lysithea could never believe that he did.
Yeah.
Like Lysithea would always believe he viewed her as a research project.
I'm gonna go neutral on this because I can picture how you could tell a story after the game where this could go really well and be really interesting and work out in this way. Like, if I can see this as a quick summary of a really good story, but the really good story's not here. I'd need like a 150,000 word fic to get there.
Like, I need to read the actual novel.
Yeah.
That tells the story.
Yeah.
Of how this makes sense.
I support neutral then.
Yeah, neutral. Marianne.
Very energetic couple.
Yes, survivor of the curse. Marianne returned home to a warm welcome from her adopted father for some reason.
Based on what?
From a gas lady to a gas lady welcome, who recognized her wisdom and skill and began to groom her as his successor. Meanwhile,
in a completely different story,
Linhardt abandoned his noble claim and happened to choose Margrave Edmund's territory as the one in which to continue his crest research. Edmund took a liking to Linhardt and approved wholeheartedly when the scholar and his daughter expressed their wish to marry. As Edmund's successors, the couple combined Linhardt's brilliance with Marianne's practical wisdom to bring abundance to the people.
This is a nightmare.
Yeah.
This ending has done a disservice to both of these characters.
This is awful.
Yeah.
No.
And I don't fully remember, but I feel like I liked their supports, but that is just a terrible ending.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so bad.
Exactly, because he's calm enough that, she to soothe her natural skittishness. Like I could see that there's inherent basis for them as a couple. I could see
she's got that weirdo crest, which he's like all about.
Right.
Yeah, but this is bad.
No.
This is a bad ending. This ending has ruined it. It's bad.
Yeah, but she could also say, "No, please don't pick at my crest. It makes me uncomfortable."
Let's move on. This is bad.
This is bad. Ew.
Yeah.
I feel dirty.
Well, let's clean it up a little then.
Slumbering princess.
Actually, I feel like
Immediately,
the supports were good. I might end up liking this ending.
immediately after the war, Flame disappeared from Garrick Mach. Again. At the same time, Linhardt mysteriously abandoned his claim to House Evering and also vanished. It was suspected, among those who knew them, that they had eloped, although no one seemed to know just where they went. Zenith wouldn't stop talking about it. Over a decade later, well after the Officers' Academy had been rebuilt, something strange happened. A sleepy young girl with antiquated clothing and the major crest of Setline enrolled. Over the next 2 years, a young boy and girl with the same crest also enrolled. Though crest scholars deduced that they must be siblings, the truth of their lineage was never definitively proven.
Is that a cat?
So it's a...
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man, that was like a horrifying noise.
I mean, it's a pretty good expression about of how one would feel about this very flame. It's a very flame ending.
Yeah. I'm neutral because I feel like we don't know what happened, and I could be sold on it, but I kind of like that we don't know what happened because this feels like how the two of them would handle it.
I think their supports actually bumped me into good on this one, because it was Linhardt being all coy and being like, "Oh man, this crest you got, weird. I got the same crest. What do you think is the deal with Saint Kathleen? I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions that are not in any way leading." And he's like one of the only people in the game who I feel like got the very obvious origin of Flame, and I'm like, good for this one character.
Okay, I can be sold on that.
I was all on that. Yeah.
Right. Good. Wow.
See, it's not going so bad for
So
Flame.
far has more good endings than I think Linhardt has.
So far. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, what?
Flame and Catherine.
That's later.
That's what I'm looking forward to. The Guardian of Xanadu. When Rhea abandoned her post as Archbishop, Catherine resigned from the Knights of Seros and accompanied her to a life of seclusion in the Red Canyon. They were joined by Catherine's new husband, Linhardt, who continued his crest research at Catherine's behest. Motivated by his wife and freed from all other distractions, Linhardt made new discoveries at an astonishing rate. The fruits of his research brought about dramatic changes in the world of crest research, but for the sake of his privacy, Linhardt always published his papers anonymously.
That's not an ending.
No. Oh, wait, hang on. Why is Golden Deer so different?
Left the Knights of Seros and set out Triple Ghost Fodlan.
Oh,
With Thunderbrand in hand, she wandered the countryside, seeking always to defend the innocent and punish the wicked. During those years of heroics, she had an unusual traveling companion in Linhardt, who had renounced his noble title and followed her. During their adventures, Catherine was said to be nearly unstoppable, and Linhardt all but useless, except in moments of great need, when the crest scholar's wisdom would suddenly carry the day. The pair's adventures lived on as beloved folktales passed down through the generations. It is unclear whether the two were ever romantically involved.
I would say this is a do not finish ending, but I would also say this is a way better ending than the other one.
Yes.
This is a do not finish, and it's a great do not finish. If we have a do not finish for Linhardt, then I like that.
I like
I would read that story.
Yes,
I would read that series.
Linhardt and Catherine traveling the land, having wacky adventures. Absolutely.
Yes.
So
that's a do not. It's technically a do not finish, but it's a really good do not finish. But
probably the best do not finish we've ever had.
Yeah, but we still have to stamp it do not finish.
Linhardt and Happy. Freed spirit. After the war, Linhardt abandoned his inherited position and instead journeyed with Happy to the village both she and St. Timotheus were from. The villagers initially bristled at the arrival, but welcomed the two once they recognized Happy. Combining what he had uncovered beneath Garrick Mach with notes found in the village said to have been left by Timotheus himself, Linhardt swiftly unraveled the mystery of Happy's unique power. With little to do once research was completed, the pair embarked upon a life of leisure together.
So did they get married?
Or were they just like, oh, cool, my quest's done?
Or did
Awesome.
they just chill as chill people together?
I feel like Happy could really deserves really a life of leisure. Like I can see, I can see a thing where Linhardt basically teaches her how to all right, now this is how you take like a 4-hour nap in the middle of the afternoon.
See,
Yep,
I would
just
say
like this.
And here's how you do a follow-up nap.
Yep. See, here is how you can sigh.
This is second breakfast.
And it's
This is the
great.
second breakfast. Yes.
I think if we determine on our own that these two actually got into a relationship, this is a good relationship. But I would say there's a point to be made that this might be a do not finish.
Yeah. There's not.
I guess so. It's really not explicit enough. It doesn't leave a lot of hints.
Yeah.
Does anyone remember their supports? Did anyone see their supports?
I did see their supports. I matched them up, and it seemed he teased her frequently about the whole summoning monsters thing in a way that at first really kind of annoyed her, as I recall, but then she realized that he was like
similar to the kind of teasing about teasing Flane about
yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I'm neutral.
That bumps me a little bit more towards the idea that they did actually have a relationship. So
I'm a low good maybe.
I'd say low good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still feeling neutral because I don't think there's enough.
Okay.
Like it's potential, but it's
we'll say high neutral then.
Yeah.
All right.
Neutral. Yeah.
Wow. I'm actually kind of disappointed in most of Linhardt's endings.
Yeah.
So I think we can all agree that the do not finish of Catherine's was actually probably the best.
Can we give a do not finish the gold medal? I don't think we can. I think that defeats the whole purpose of this entire series.
We can't. I don't know.
Yeah, so the good. Yeah.
What was the Edelgard one? Was it any good? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think it was that great.
Is it?
We like the Byleth one.
Byleth?
I think.
Because it wasn't Bernadetta. Yeah, not Bernadetta. Not Annette.
I feel like I like Scythia has the potential by virtue of it being a story that I could be interested in.
Yeah.
It's not Annette. It's not Dorothea. Interesting.
I feel like our final three
do not finish.
are
how disappointing.
Bailiff, Flane, and Happy?
Yeah.
But
maybe Caspar?
Okay. No, we didn't. No, we didn't really like Caspar. Well, we liked Caspar's, but we also felt like it was too vague.
I think of what we have.
Then there was that other one that wasn't vague. No. Bayless was the one that wasn't vague.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like of what we have here, I kind of.
I'm leaning Bailiff as the
you're
top.
Leaning Bailiff.
I don't.
Yeah, I get.
I think ending-wise, that's one of the better endings, but I just don't like them as a couple that much.
I just feel very much like I could be led into a Lysithia shipping community with them. Like, I feel like there's probably a really good fic out there, but there probably isn't. It just feels like there would be.
I guess.
Not knowing what happens with Blaine.
I'd probably give it to Flane personally.
I can live with Flane, but it's also annoying because we know literally nothing about it, and I feel like that's why we're giving it.
Yeah, it gives you an idea of the way these endings were written, that the one that was written the vaguest is the one we like the most.
That's true. I say, whereas, Annette and Marianne were both ones we were willing to be on board with, but the details actively turned us off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And we gotta go with Flane.
Yeah, Flane.
Wow. Since we can't give it to a do not finish.
And then who would we give second place? I'm okay with giving Byleth second place.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and Happy. I mean, kind of. They're both kind of in there.
All right, super. So, surprisingly disappointing round for Linhardt.
Wow.
Wow.
Let's
Oh.
hopefully next time we will have a less disappointing round. John, go ahead and say the line.
When we rock the Caspar.